What's going on? It's the RapNerd, and I just got out of seeing Oz Perkins' latest film called The Monkey. And this is based on a short that Stephen King wrote with the same title. And the story follows a set of twins who finds a toy monkey early on in life, and they soon find out that it's not just a toy. Because once the monkey starts beating his drums, people around them start to die. So from that point on, as they get older, their mission is to keep the monkey away, but somehow the monkey gets out and the killing begins. So it's up to them to again find the monkey. So it starts when the twins are younger, but as they get older, they're played by Theo James, who I think did a great job, and I'm glad to see that both of the twins were actually a part of the film, because based on the trailer, I thought that one of the twins was just going to be more of a voice, and the name of the twins are Hal and Bill. But we mostly follow Hal through the story. And I gotta say, I absolutely love this film. It ended up being what I expected from the trailer and a lot more. This movie is super duper campy. It's a black comedy. And I love when movies are able to be what they are, but when you start to dig, you find a lot more there, and there are definitely layers to the film. And that's what makes it great to me. So to address the front part of it, this film is ultra bloody. It's gory as hell, and let me tone down the expectations. This is not like Terrifier level. I gotta say that because I think Terrifier has definitely taken what gore is to the next level. So we don't get anything on that crazy level. But for like regular mainstream horror, it's really gory. There's a lot of stuff that happens with these deaths, as you can imagine from the trailer. Blood splatter, body parts, guts, all types of stuff that you see in this film. And what I like about it as well is, of course, this is going to be compared to Final Destination, but it is some of that with the concept, but as a movie overall, it's completely different. The Final Destination movies are campy by way. They don't go out of their way to try to be campy, even though there are campy moments, and you know, the films take themselves seriously, but the camp comes through in a different way. While this movie here, the camp shines through completely. Like people say and do things that are really meant to be comedic, over the top, and just dry humor all in all. And another way that this movie is separated from Final Destination is the type of kills here. Final Destination, I feel, is going more for grounded type deaths, even though there are things that are over the top. It goes about it in a way like, if this were to happen, the chain of events in which it happens is realistic and grounded. Like when you think about the first movie with the airplane crash, going into the other films like a roller coaster malfunctioning, NASCAR races gone wrong, a bridge collapsing. Like there are a lot of things in those movies that I'm like, all right, I can see this, how this could happen. Whereas here in The Monkey, the shit that happens is not realistic at all. This is not something that is concerned with being grounded when it comes to deaths happening. I mean, in the trailer, if you saw, somebody got cut with a hibachi knife while the food is getting cooked. You know, and like, that's not happening. Or a shotgun randomly being in the closet, and when you open the door, it just drops down and shoots them. Like, there's things like this all throughout the film where the kills are very, very over the top, and it's like, that can't happen. And that's what makes it such comedic gold and makes you want to laugh, because it's like, this is way over the top, and I loved it. And it just is super fun with that premise and setup of the monkey being the one to bring death around. So as soon as you see that monkey's arm raised, Oz cuts to different things in the scene to show you like, okay, everything can be dangerous here. And I love that they did that. And there are a lot of kills in this film. There's like a montage of them that just keep going and going and going and going. That's like, holy shit. And there are even moments that you see in the trailer where you think like, okay, I know how this is going to pan out. You know, it shows it. But when it actually happens and goes through with the death, your jaw dropped. Like there was one that I was just like, whoa, I didn't expect it. And that was in the trailer. Holy shit. And I even love the exploration of the lore with the monkey. It's never an expositional dump where it's overly complicated as to how it works and all of that. It's just straight up is what it is, and you learn it with the characters as the story progresses. It was a really great way to lay out what, you know, they think it is, because you still don't get a real full explanation as to why and how and all of that. But again, there's room to explore here, which I'm going to get into like the layers of it. So with the layers of the film, while I say it's you know, horror black comedy on top that's campy, super self-aware, there are definitely some things in here that add up, you know, a punch of philosophical thought to it. I mean, just the idea of death and how they talk about death in the film. There's a sequence when your twin's mom, she's speaking about death like, yeah, so-and-so died, but we're all gonna die. And she turns to the kids, you're gonna die, I'm gonna die. Some of them in their sleep, in peaceful happenings, while others may die with duct tape over their mouth. And just, it's campy what she's saying in that. Like, you can laugh at it, but that's the reality of it. There are a lot of moments that get sprinkled around like that. Even the characters Bill and Hal, they're products of people who are scared of death to the point where they don't make anything of their lives at all. Like, they're a representation of people being too scared to do anything, where they just watch their lives pass on, and it's a metaphor for that. And then there are a whole bunch of biblical references in this movie that I'm still putting the pieces together as I watch the film, especially when you get to the end. Something I did not see coming, and that itself, there's a scene that happens that adds some credence to what's going on. It also opens your mind up even more, because as soon as I saw this, it made me think like, so that's what a few of these things are about. And I feel like any movie that can make you retroactively think about the film in a more complex and deep way, you're doing your job, especially when it doesn't disrupt what you already saw. It just adds to it. And I really loved those little sprinklings and just ending it the way it did. From a technical standpoint, I think the script is nice. You get to the point pretty easily. A lot of the comedy hit for me. There are a few things that I did miss, but for the most part, everything I found to be funny. I also think the performances are good, especially from Theo, because he plays two different characters who are very similar, but he is able to do slight changes to differentiate the two, which I feel like it was difficult to pull off, but I feel like he did it really well to where you could tell exactly who's who, on top of the costume design making the two brothers different. And it's just so campy with the way that they go about explaining things that it's just hilarious to me. And like Longlegs, the cinematography is gorgeous. This is a beautifully shot film. It has a similar color palette to Longlegs, especially when you go to the scenes of when they were kids, because I believe those scenes take place in 1999. It was just done well to suit that time period. Again, kudos to the costume designer being able to dress people differently to differentiate that time period from when you're in the now with the characters as they're older. The sound design also plays a part as well, because a lot of the deaths happen and the sound is boosted to really hear the grinding of bodies, the explosions that may happen, the cutting of limbs. All that is pumped up to really feel each death and make it that more hilarious. Even with the monkey playing drums, yes, you get the doom, doom, but there's this music that drops in as well that plays, and they use that also to forewarn you of what's coming. And I thought that was a dope way to use the music. And because this is a horror movie, people tend to still associate the genre with just being scared and how fearful it made me. And this movie isn't that. I don't think that going into this film expecting to get scared out your pants is the best route to go. If you've seen the trailer, then you kind of know what to expect and where this movie goes, right? And to double down on scary, what I will say is this monkey design is just terrible in the best way possible. I've always been freaked out by this toy since I've seen it since back in the day. I'm wondering, like, who in the hell designed this toy and been like, this would be a good thing to get to my kids. They may like it. Like, what? This toy looks bugged out. And it creeped me out the way they were able to use it in the film, I will say that. And I also like that there were some jump scares thrown in here for the sake of keeping it exciting, because there were some that I didn't see coming that caught me off guard, like, oh shit. Not necessarily scared, but I like adding that to a movie like this. So overall, man, I absolutely loved this film, and this is one that I hope has a steelbook as well. Gonna rewatch this as soon as it hits VOD. If I have time, I'm gonna go to the theater and see it again, because I loved it that much. It's a campy good time that also offers some things to let your thoughts play on the idea of death and a few other things that I don't want to spoil. So if you've seen The Monkey, let me know in the comments what you thought. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you see any layers that spoke to you? And which death was your favorite? Because there's a lot to choose from, man. And if you like this kind of content, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, thank you. Until next time, peace. RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy. Instead of banking on it, now rapping is just a hobby.